Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Sorry for the long delay in videos. Life gets in the way. I do this just as a hobby. And today I wanted to take a look at Flexa and the AMP token by request. This was requested on an earlier video of mine and by Xenot D. And I'm just going to go ahead and let them know that I am filming this right now. So that has been posted. Let's get back here to the Flexa main page. This is the landing site of Flexa.network. This is the company page. And people want to know, is this project legitimate? And I can say that I am very, very confident in its legitimacy, only because I have used this product and their SPEDN wallet and Gemini Pay to buy Dunkin' Donuts. And I've used it at Lowe's. There's more to that later on. That'll be toward the end. But right now, let's just start getting into this whole what is Flexa Network, who is behind it, and let's see exactly where they're going. At least the sources I have right now. There is a lot more coming out. Again, I'll get to that here later in the video. amptoken.org, this is under the documents section, and I'm just going to put this here so that way people can know that there's a lot of community resources. Discord, never been on Discourse. There's a Facebook group, there's GitHub, Medium blog, Reddit, Snapshot, Substack, Telegram, and Twitter. And any of these little asterisks denotes active management by the AMP core team, and the other community-led forums are provided as reference. I do like the Reddit and the Facebook. And Discord is also good. The Discord there is no price chat, but the team is actually on there and do respond. I did go pretty deep into the background of Mr. Spalding. If he's watching this for reference, I wish I was in the car with you back in November of 2002. The reason why I'm talking about Mr. Spalding is because he is sort of the face as the CEO of Flexa Network. And you're probably wondering why I'm looking at this right now when I'm talking about Tyler Spalding. And the reason why I'm showing you this when discussing Mr. Tyler Spalding is because I like to look at timelines, something you've noticed in my previous video. I always want to make sure that the timelines match up. So we have here that under his education, MIT, Harvard Business School, Urbana-Champaign. A lot of this work stuff I'm not going to be able to find, especially like Lockheed Martin. Good luck trying to find stuff through a defense contractor. But I wanted to go back a little bit further here and see this. Faculty, Aerospace Engineering and Mechanics. It's the same University of Alabama, 2005-2006. And at the University of Alabama, he was there from August 2002 to August 2004. So one would be safe to assume that some of these seniors, they're graduating in 2005/2006, are the ones that had Tyler Spalding as a professor of some type. And Tyler Spalding shows up twice. See right here, the person who made the most significant positive contribution, he at least did it for 2 students. Granted, not quite as much as some of these getting 20, 17, 9. But hey, he at least got on the board there. And the second time is also 2. Again, person who made the most significant positive contribution. MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MBA, Entrepreneurship and Innovation, 2009 to 2011. So unless Mr. Spalding is playing the longest con ever in history for cryptocurrency and started it 2 years before Bitcoin came out.
Guess we're waiting this to load. What did one elevator say to the other elevator? I think I'm coming down with something.
Okay, I just had to share that joke for everyone. But yes, this MIT $100,000 elevator pitch contest finals. So the elevator pitch contest is for startups. Whenever they do these pitches, they can win prize money to use in their startups. As you can see, this guy's going through his pitch right now.
This is a pipeline that Callinix and our unique patent-protected technology can take advantage of. I studied at the University of Maryland with 3 other graduate students.
And the MIT 100K is still going on. Yes, our competition, 3 independent contestants, started back in 89-90 academic year, and it's basically kept on growing, and they keep on doing this to try to get the capital for people to start up their startups or to expand them. So it's great, actually. It helps the community, helps new businesses start up. So with the MIT plus the University of Alabama, I feel pretty confident, especially going that far back. As well as, you see here, Tastebud Technologies and Raise. These two are actually pretty important in the history of Flexa. Two other co-founders that have actually been there with him as well, including Trevor, involved in Flexa as a co-founder and was also at Raise, as well as Zachary Kilgore, who was also at Raise. All three together. Also co-founded it with Daniel C. McCabe, the COO and CCO of Flexa Network, and a co-founder, was the general counsel before Michelle Gitlitz. Tyler, he is quite the face of Flexa Network. Here is him speaking about speed and cost of transactions in Flexa.
On transaction speed, all we do is we just give an authorization to the merchant instantly, to whereas like those open loop rails are going to have to call out to someone through all this process and then come back for decisioning. So ours are about like 200 milliseconds, like all in. So it's really, really fast. We don't even know how you could make it faster. It's literally just a signal directly to the merchant terminal saying, accept the payment.
Well, someone who deals with milliseconds in my job, I deal with automation and in a factory setting. I program machines and whatnot, and we do things pretty quickly. And he's speaking about 200 milliseconds. The human eye, I believe, can only see to 13 or 14 milliseconds in speed. 200 milliseconds is a fifth of a second. So that is insanely fast.
Nothing else really there. So it's as fast as it can be.
Okay, cost-wise?
So cost, there are costs in the system. We try to always come in at significantly under what an interchange rate to a merchant would be. All in costs though are at like 10% or something of like what the existing systems have in place now.
Interesting. So
imagine going from the current legacy payment rails to saving 90% on these new payment rails. Quite impressive. And this is just one of the many interviews he's done. This one here on the Paul Barron's network, probably the best interview. I'm not going to really go through it. If you have time and you're only going to watch one, I would recommend this one. And here's also a video. This was the Chainlink Smart Contract Summit, Tyler's keynote with Flexa. And he's discussing the current roadmap with digital wallet apps launched in 2019, loyalty apps, and traditional finance. I'll get more into the traditional finance when we start talking about Flexa itself. I just want to talk about these people behind the scenes. We see here that Flexa is registered money service business and holds relevant money transmitter licenses and approvals to operate in all 50 states and Canada. Tyler does have a Twitter. He does do a little bit of retweeting, a couple tweets every now and then. But yes, this is just his own personal Twitter page. Okay, and here's Trevor's background. Has quite a bit of information about being in the payments industry. Perfect to help start up Flexa. Again, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Management and Comparative Media Studies. He does have a little bit of a YouTube presence here. For example, Sitcon.
It's the Washington Post Truthometer to try and highlight this is not why we think digital currencies are important, and certainly they're not a safe haven for criminals. So if you have others who are telling you otherwise, we're always happy to help share some of what we've learned and share some materials that sort of support the more accurate point of view.
In this video, Trevor's more going into the fine details, exactly how this works. Again, this is for Sitcon, which is one of the partners of Flexa. It's a pretty good video. And this is Trevor's personal Twitter. Let's see here, design, etc. at flexa.network, rethinking payments, make money better for everybody. Few retweets, seems pretty active. This is about a week ago. Might be a little bit busy with the recent announcements from Flexa. especially where Trevor's active is in the Discord. The 25 days of Flexa, letting all these announcements come out, making sure people know about these things. Trevor, he is active here at the help page of Flexa.network. This one here, using your Flexa ID, kind of surprised me. Why does Flexa need my personal information? Click on here and it's updated a week ago. And it lets you know that the reason why is because the Know Your Customer laws. Because Flexa is considered a money services business, there are certain steps that we must take in order to ensure that our network is not used for money laundering or terrorist financing. And as part of that process, we are legally required to compare your full name, date of birth, state, territory of residence against lists provided by the Office of Foreign Assets Control, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and other government entities. So that's why they need your information, because they need to know who you are so that merchants in the network accept your payments, making sure that you are not a terrorist or laundering money through the Flexa network. And these are Trevor's own words on exactly what Flexa network is trying to accomplish.
Large and small to accept cryptocurrencies without having to worry about the risk or volatility of those purchases. And what we're ultimately hoping to do is make payments as affordable as possible on both sides of the equation. We have a dream of making it possible one day for payments to be completely free, and we're looking to make any coin spendable using any app in any store.
So now that we've covered Trevor and Tyler, time to speak about Michelle Gitlitz. And Michelle has quite the impressive background, is quite active here on LinkedIn. We can see here her history, Blank Rome, Crawl and Morning, and General Counsel to Flexa, plus other stuff. Co-founder of Diversity and Blockchain. That was October 2017 to 2018. The reason why I'm bringing up the Diversity and Blockchain is because that was one of Flexa's announcements. On the 7th of December, roughly 5 days ago from the filming, we can see that Flexa donated $10,000 to Diversity and Blockchain, a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating equal, open, and inclusive opportunities in the blockchain space, founded by 5 blockchain leaders in 2018, including our very own Michelle Gitlitz. I like that right there. They are going ahead and letting you know that there is a connection between Diversity and Blockchain and Flexa. They're just going ahead and putting that out there, so that way there's no questions about any impropriety. And speaking in the Diversity and Blockchain, this is from 2018 June.
Thing I do want to say, and you had asked earlier, Mike, and I think it's really important, is you don't have to have a love of or even a great understanding of technology. You can really understand the fundamentals of blockchain and say, hey, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a coder, I'm a marketer, I'm a lawyer, I'm a communications person, I'm in PR, but all of these industries will need people who have just a basic understanding and a basic desire to work in this space. And so
And that is an excellent point. Not everyone needs to be a programmer. I don't want my lawyer to be a programmer. I want my lawyer to be a lawyer who understands programming if I need him or her to do anything with law and my business, if say I'm Flexa Network. Perfect example. This is what real businesses do. They find people that can at least have a basic understanding. You don't need to be a programmer to be a lawyer for a blockchain company. A little bit more background. This is the Lex blog. Pretty big blog when it comes to lawyers. You can see Michelle Gitlitz was involved in this article. Discusses ways to keep yourself from being a target, falling for red flags, such as promises of high or guaranteed investment, which is another part of why I like the Flexa Discord channel. Price chat is explicitly banned. You don't need to know the price of a token or what it's going to do if the project is sound, as long as you know how the project operates and can see that it actually is operating the way it should be operating. And we have a list of articles here from Muckrack with Michelle Gitlitz as the tag, as seen on law.com, Bitcoin Magazine, Law 360, Lexology, JD Supra, Lexblog. Muckrack I do enjoy. I signed up for their free newsletter. I don't really click any of the links in the email because it's all sort of tracking your clicks. I think that's how they can afford to pay for that free, free in quotation marks. It's a good daily newsletter. I like to read it. It keeps me up to date. And speaking about Michelle Gitlitz here, we can see that there's just tons of stuff. NFTs, entering the NFT market, FinCEN issue notices, blockchain, crypto. It's just quite a bit she's written about. We're going all the way back to 3 years, 4 years. Yeah, Michelle Gitlitz has been getting into the blockchain and now is part of Flexa to help them navigate the legal frameworks that Flexa can keep on expanding. So now that we've seen some of the people behind the scenes, let's go ahead and look here. Integrations that Flexa offers. See, we have some big names in the industry. Again, Sitcon, which was the video Trevor was doing. Clover, I've seen those terminals. NCR terminals, you're going to see those everywhere. That's an amazing partnership. Income payments here. You go to the main website right here as soon as you scroll down. Through our partnership with Flexa, Income Payments enables customers to pay quickly and securely using digital currency wallets or payment apps, making it easy to accept Bitcoin, Ether, Dogecoin, and more. You can click there to learn more. And it's a whole page about crypto. Guaranteed settlement, no chargebacks, no unexpected reversals. And all payments are guaranteed from the moment they hit your POS. Consumer-friendly new payment methods. It's just quite impressive. You're probably thinking Income might be a small company. They're really not. Here's the history of Income. 1992, and there's their timeline. 95, first point-of-sale activation technology. So you could activate gift cards at a point of sale. First prepaid wireless cards, first iTunes gift card, Vanilla. I'm sure you've heard of Vanilla. It's quite impressive what they've done. If you want to know more about how Flexa Network and AMP Token would work at Income Payments, I would go back here to the docs.amptoken.org/about/community, and you can see here that there is the Flexa Network isometric animation.
Needs a truly digital payment network that is fast, secure, and cheap while being mobile and frictionless. But the current payment networks are centralized and support limited currencies. Visa and MasterCard are complex with many intermediaries, which makes them expensive to use for merchants and consumers. Although crypto is the future, and by nature are digital, their use for payments is slow and expensive.
So compare what you just saw with this.
Of any digital asset to any fiat or other digital asset is now made possible by the Flexa Network's collateral pools via its native cryptocurrency token, AMP. AMP tokens are used to stake in collateral pools that provide intermediary liquidity for transactions, secure the network, and guarantee funds to merchants until a transaction has reached settlement on the blockchain. Every transaction incurs a low fee of less than 1%.
Less than 1% fee. You see the flex code generated there for Baskin-Robbins. Speaking of the collateral pools with Flexa, and this is where you can connect your wallets, and there's currently $1.4 billion of spending capacity on the Flexa network. You can go here and look at the apps on Flexa. Gemini Pay currently has $805 million of liquidity. The SPEDN app, which I like to use on my phone, currently has $187 million of collateral. The Lightning Network currently has $441 million in the liquidity pool. This information is actually real time. It'll actually update if you leave your screen here long enough. Stakers have currently earned 108.5 million AMP staking Lightning Network. Each one of these Lightning Transformer, SPEDN, and Gemini all have different APYs. Those APYs do fluctuate depending on the usage and amount of liquidity provided. Lightning Network is the one that's used in El Salvador. And so you can see here that Banco Agricola, sorry, I'm mispronouncing that horribly, partners with Flexa to enable Bitcoin acceptance across El Salvador. And this was back in September of 2021. Flexa is global now. The integration in El Salvador is important because now it is bringing forth AMP and Flexa Network into conversations that are outside of the crypto news bubble, which I have some issues with the crypto news bubble. This is on the Motley Fool. It discusses about how AMP and its lightning fast transaction time should be on your crypto watch list. Describes how AMP works, kind of layman's terms, lets them know about AMP token. It's not all quite sunshine though with El Salvador, because Market Watch article discusses is mainly the fact that people really don't know exactly how crypto works. They're still a bit skittish on it. They've heard plenty of FUD about how it's only for criminals, and was basically forced upon people, so there was a lot of backlash. Another article discussing the need for things like Flexa. A perfect example is that Amazon stopped accepting Visa credit cards issued in the UK, citing high fees. As we saw, Flexa network less than 1%. I want to go back here and discuss another integration, the NCR. This is almost 2 years old at this rate, and this I kind of think is just the end game overall.
Are you ready? I can walk up to self-checkout or Go. I could say buy crypto.
So as you can see, he's going to purchase crypto.
I could get my wallet, and I could say I'm going to add Gemini dollars. So I click the plus sign for Gemini dollars, and I click load wallet in store. I scan that QR code. It's ready to load. So now I need to choose how much I want to load. I'm going to do $20. I'm going to say I want to do cash, use cash to load that.
Cash.
And now I need to take my $20 and put it into the cash machine.
Say bye-bye to the fiat.
And then it will load.
So yeah, that was NCR just showing how they're partnering with Flexa and Gemini to try to make it easier for people to load crypto into their phones. Now you're probably saying, oh, this is great. You know, everything looks perfect and peachy keen. But now you're probably wondering, is it actually a real business? I would believe so. Flexa's Crunchbase, you can see 20 million raised, 10 contacts, 4 employee profiles, 9 investors. You can see here that the founders are listed: Daniel C. McCabe, Trevor Fielder, Tyler Spalding, Zachary Kilgore. Last funding type was an ICO. For-profit company, private. And here's the state of Delaware business license. We have the business entity. Everything seems to match up too on these timelines. You can see here that incorporated in March of 2018. Go to Tyler's thing here, and it looks like February 2018 is when it was founded. So that appears correct. And also, if you go back here to the Flexa page, and you go clear to the bottom here, clear to the bottom, NMLS ID, click on that. We got to make sure we're not a robot here. Agree to the terms and conditions, make sure you're not a robot. And here are all the NMLS licenses for money transmitters. And with only these licenses here, looks like you've got about 11 of them. These all cover all 50 states. There's a lot of reciprocity. And someone else pointed this out. If you go to the same Delaware search for business entities, I just put in Flexa and searched the state of Delaware here. Look down, there's Flexa Network, and right up here is Flexa Network ES, which might be El Salvador. And this was actually incorporated August 24th, 2021. And as I showed you with that press release about the bank in El Salvador, which is actually, that is the largest financial institution of El Salvador, that information came out September 9th. So we were looking at a little over 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks between when this entity was formed and when that announcement came out. So there's a good chance that might have been the same network. I'm not sure, that's just speculation right now, but it would make sense setting up a separate entity to be the business side just for El Salvador, especially with all our tax laws and whatnot. It keeps everything separated and easy to understand. And of course, here's just the main Flexa network page on Twitter, Flexa HQ. Again, there's discussion. There's Michelle Gitlitz with, it looks like Stellar.org, BitPay, a few other places just discussing crypto payments for businesses. And of course, she's retweeting these 25 days, it looks like, Flexa. That was Sheeb. I still laugh at this infographic that someone has $1.7 million of spending in their SPEDN wallet because they just put a bunch of SHIB in there. And regarding the AMP token that powers Flexa, just to show that they do some research, this is actually consensus that helped them develop the AMP token, and they did an audit to make sure that everything is functioning correctly. They found a few, you can see here there's some major issues that have been fixed, medium that have been fixed, medium that was acknowledged, but everything else has been fixed. Minor stuff's been acknowledged. So these are very good for the tokens to be audited, keeps everything from going haywire. And if you want to use the SPEDN app, this is on the App Store, SPEDN by Flexa for Apple. You can see here digital currencies you can spend. They've added a lot more recently with these 25 days of Flexa. But yes, pretty good ratings. I don't see really a problem here. The one on Android doesn't have the best ratings, but it's still in beta. As far as I know, I really haven't had a problem with it. I've seen people have problems just trying to get the wallet to be created type deal, but usually, for the most part, things seem to work quite well with the app. Trevor did speak on the Discord that the reason why you have to select the merchants individually, as you can see here, pay lows, is because each merchant is different, their backends are different, there's not a fully baked SDK just quite yet. Some of that is hardware limitations. Not everyone can accept the same amount of information generated in the code. Some scanners only do 12 lines, some do 18 lines, things like that. And also with the merchants, their backend, like for Lowe's. I haven't been able to use Lowe's for a little bit because they turned it off on their backend. They might turn it back on, they probably will. Some of the retailers have done that. I've had Baskin Robbins go down for like a day and then come back so that I can get Dunkin' Donuts. Simple things like that. And very early technology. What I was just saying about SPEDN with the new tokens. As you can see here, there's been more that have been added, like Terra USD, Basic Attention Token. They're trying to actually put AMP on the Flexa network. There's a little technical limitation. They're working on it. There's Chainlink, Comp, LRC, Loopring, Matic, Scale, Sushi, and there's just more and more that keep on coming. Under the dev part, we see here there's some retailers, and some of these, again, they're there or they aren't there anymore, like Gamestop, currently back. Pay Regal, Regal Cinemas is on there, and they're doing a promotion, 25 days. This was actually the second day. Save 20% when you use Flex at any Regal theater location and spend any digital currency on movies, concessions, and more. And this is only through December. So by the time you might be watching this, this one might be over. Now if you notice here, you see these Flex codes that are generated right there. Are a type of QR code and they look a little bit different. See here? That looks very, very similar to a Flex code. It's a special type of QR code. And this is Banco Agricola, again, the largest financial institution in El Salvador. So you can now pay Bitcoin with your credit cards, loans from mobile banking and e-banking. More options to make your payments digitally. This page is originally in Spanish, but I just translated it real quick through the browser. Credit card payments with Bitcoin, and this is the payment of loans with Bitcoin. That is the video showing you that Flex code being generated. And one final thing, when it comes to Flexa Network, I want to discuss that there are patents that have been assigned to the Flexa Network. For example, we have a granted patent here with the multi-part code system. These are all for digital currencies through phone apps, things like that. For example, real-time cryptocurrency-backed payment with code initiation is an application type. And before we get much more into the different types of patents, which I'm really not going to cover, there's published, application, and grant so far that I've seen on this. Looks like everything is just going the way it should be. We have quite a bit here. This is all Flexa Network. You can see they're all Trevor, Zachary, and Tyler here. Let's see. You just have quite a bit of patent stuff. So they're going for protecting their IP. which is something you don't see on a lot of the competitors to this in the payment spaces network with cryptocurrency. So how do I feel about this project? It's legitimate. It's a real company. I mean, you've seen the licenses, you've seen the actual business registration, I've showed you the patents. You can see that all these people that I've shown, there's nothing where they've been doing something else forever and just randomly hey, I'm a crypto expert now in 2017. No, these people have all worked toward this goal. As soon as the technology starts coming out and changing, that's where they've come to. And it's just all the timelines match. Everything appears normal. And just to sign off, I wanted to say thank you to the community. I do see I'm actually quite active in the AMP community. A few disclosures, I do hold the project. I'm not going to discuss the price because price action really doesn't matter to me at this point. I don't see this thing taking off to be like, you're not going to 100x next month. This isn't a pump and dump. This is just steady and slow growth. And see here, this is just steady and slow growth. Exactly what I expect.